esteemed dignitaries, your illumination of the land symbolizes the spreading of wisdom and the bright future ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the foundation of any successful event lies in a warm and insightful welcome, setting the tone for the discussions ahead. To do the honors, we are deeply honored to have a respected and pivotal figure from the government, whose expertise guides critical policy decisions in land resource management. It is my distinct pleasure to invite Shri Nitin Kharegaru, IAS Joint Secretary WM, Department of Land Resources, to kindly step forward and address the gathering with his welcome note. I want everyone, if you can please join your hands together and give a huge round of applause for Nitin sir.
Namaskar. A very good morning to you all. Honorable Minister of State for Rural Development and Communications, Dr. Chandra Sekhar Pemmasani ji, Respected Secretary of Department of Land Resources, Shri Manoj Joshi ji, Principal Secretary, Rural Development, Andhra Pradesh, Shri Shashibhushan Kumar ji, Commissioner, Rural Development, Shri Krishna Teja, Collector, Srimati Tamim, my colleague, Dr. Reddy, Director Watershed, Shri Shanmukh, distinguished Padma Shri awardees, Shri Umashankar Pandey ji, Dr. Shyam Paliwal ji, all distinguished guests, officials and colleagues. I heartily welcome you all to this National Watershed Conference and launch of Watershed Mahotsav at Guntur. We all have been working to transform the degraded land of our country into fertile land. And as our Honorable Prime Minister has set a goal to make India a developed country by 2047, we all are committed to make a drought-free India for the developed India. विकसित भारत के लिए सूखा मुक्त भारत, इस उद्देश्य से हम सब लोग मिलकर फील्ड में काम कर रहे हैं। आप में से कुछ लोग एनजीओ से हैं, काफी स्टेट से हमारे चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर्स भी आए हैं। तो पब्लिक प्राइवेट पीपल पार्टनरशिप मॉडल पे हम सब लोग मिलकर काम कर रहे हैं और इस काम के नतीजे से हम हमारे देश का जो सूखाग्रस्त इलाका है, जो वर्षा आधारित खेती का इलाका है, वहां पे हम हरियाली और खुशहाली लाने का काम कर रहे हैं। इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में हम हमारे जो WC2 के स्कीम के काम है उनका रिव्यू करेंगे। साथ ही साथ यहाँ आप जैसे अनुभवी लोग जो यहाँ आए हैं उनसे हम सुनना चाहते हैं कि जो हम WC3 की स्कीम का प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं, 2026 से 31 के दरमियान हम WC3 की स्कीम चलाएंगे, उसका अभी हम नियोजन कर रहे हैं। उसमें क्या क्या नए एस्पेक्ट हम इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकते हैं, अभी के हमारे स्कीम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में क्या क्या वीकनेस है और इन सारे पहलुओं पे हम चिंतन करेंगे। आप में से काफी लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है। मैं दो महानुभूति का उनका तो नाम लिया ही है, उसके साथ साथ और कुछ एनजीओज यहाँ हैं, जैसे नाम फाउंडेशन के श्री मल्हार पाटेकर हैं और गणेश थोराट जी हैं। नाना पाटेकर जी के मार्गदर्शन में उन्होंने लगभग 143 नदियों का पुनरुज्जीवन महाराष्ट्र में किया है, हजारों वाटर बॉडीज़ का पुनरुज्जीवन किया है। वो और 8-10 स्टेट में भी काम कर रहे हैं। साथ ही प्रधान के जैसे एनजीओज के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव यहाँ हैं, सेवा संस्थान के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव यहाँ हैं। महाराष्ट्र से एक मिस्टर हनुमंत केंद्रे और बालाजी केंद्रे भी आए हैं। उनके भी बहुत अच्छे काम उन्होंने किए हैं। उनके ऊपर एक रिसेंटली उनके काम के ऊपर एक मूवी भी बना है और ये बहुत अच्छी बात है कि उनके उस मूवी को नेशनल अवार्ड मिला है और वो मूवी इंडिया की तरफ से ऑस्कर में नॉमिनेट भी हुआ है। तो ऐसे अच्छे कामों का जो दखल लेना चाहिए वो डिफरेंट जगहों पे गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से लिया जा रहा है। तो इसके साथ हमारे जो फील्ड में काम किए हुए 10-10 साल 5 साल जिन्होंने काम किया है डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे या ब्लॉक लेवल पे या स्टेट लेवल पे, ऐसे ऑफिसर्स को भी हमने यहाँ इनवाइट किया है। हमारे स्टेट के सीईओज एंड एडिशनल सीईओ जॉइंट सीईओज भी कुछ यहाँ पे आए हैं। तो हम सब से अपने स्कीम के बारे में, नए जो हमारे सुझाव है उसके बारे में जानना चाहते हैं और ये जो चिंतन मंथन हम जो करेंगे उसके आधार पे हम अपनी नई स्कीम को मूर्त रूप देना चाहते हैं। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने 2 दिन पहले ही वंदे मातरम हमारे राष्ट्रीय गीत को 150 साल पूरे हुए उसके लिए एक देशव्यापी अभियान शुरू किया है। हम सब लोग सही मायने में मुझे लगता है कि वंदे मातरम गीत के स्पिरिट के साथ काम कर रहे हैं। हमारा जो काम है कि हमारे देश की जो वर्षा आधारित खेती के इलाके, सूखाग्रस्त इलाके, इनमें जो हरियाली खुशहाली लाने की हम कोशिश करते हैं, उससे जो हम हमारे देश की धरती है उसको सुजलाम सुफलाम बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ लैंड रिसोर्सेज का जो काम है वो इस गीत के स्पिरिट के साथ बहुत स्ट्रांगली रिजोनेट होता है। तो एक बार मैं आप सबका फिर से हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। धन्यवाद। वंदे मातरम।
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I would request Pranavi ma'am if you can please join me on this stage, as we have Shri Siam Khan Mohan Gode sir, the Deputy Advisor DOLR, here already joined us. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as I invite sir to please join me on this stage. And ma'am, if you can please welcome sir with a floral bouquet. A round of applause, all the ladies and gentlemen who are sitting here. So if you can please accept a floral tribute from our side. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, our next esteemed speaker is the architect behind many successful initiatives focusing on sustainable livelihoods and integrated watershed management in Andhra Pradesh. He carries the crucial dual responsibility as the Principal Secretary of the Panchayat Raj and Rural Development and the Chairman of the State Level Nodal Agency. His leadership is instrumental in translating policy into on-ground action, ensuring that every drop counts and every village thrives. It is my distinct honor and privilege to now invite civil servant and the driving force behind our efforts. Please join me in offering a thunderous round of applause as we welcome Shri Shashi Bhushan Kumar Garu, IAS, onto the stage to give our next welcome address. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, please.
Good morning to all the delegates, all the guests on the dais, all the practitioners of the science of watershed development or watershed treatment, and all the distinguished achievers in the field who are also present in this National Conference on Watershed. I thank the Government of India for selecting Guntur in Andhra Pradesh as the venue for holding this national conference. Thank you, sir. This is a very important conference, not only to review our journey in watershed development in the country as a whole, which is not less than at least 25 to 30 years, and then to find some kind of a pathway for the future, which finally might be coming as a guidelines or the operational guidelines or principles for PMKSY 3.0. I am involved with this watershed concept and its operations on ground off and on since last 2.5 decades. All of us sitting here would have heard of how the watershed development program in the country started with the Desert Development Plan, DDP. There used to be a PD in all these DDP districts who used to handle only watershed development in those DDP districts. It was further expanded to cover many districts in the state under what came to be known as DPAP, Drought Prone Area Program, or DPAP. So, good number of districts were covered under that program. And then finally, subsequently, we have seen Hariyali 1, Hariyali 2, which further expanded into PMKSY 1.0 and then on to PMKSY 2.0, which is in its terminal year of operation. Watershed, for me, it took quite a while to understand the very basic meaning of what is a watershed. I come from a plain Ganga plains area, where draining water is a problem. I am standing in a state where most of the state will have some kind of a minimum gradient required to drain out water, to make the water move. The state I come from, Bihar, and the area in Bihar I come from, there we have a term called tal. Tal is an absolutely flat land where whatever rain falls will basically stand there only. It will not move unless it is made to move artificially. So there are different models of watershed development, watershed treatment, but then the ultimate objective is to ensure that farmers' income, farmers who depend upon these lands, their income improves. People living in these areas who do not have land, their livelihood improves. Our overall environment is positively impacted, and in general there is more crop per drop. Now some people are calling more dollars per drop. So there is quite a bit of conflict there, because when we talk about watershed development, we talk about how to create, how to generate, how to ensure that crop yields improve, farmers' livelihoods improve, all based upon the lands. But then watershed development is a perfect marriage of land and water. All of us know that. There is a conflict in the sense that some people say that why do you bother only about land improvement from each drop of water that falls? Why don't you focus on how much more each drop of water can achieve in terms of allotting that water to industrial development, to commercial development, to many other water uses. I think that is one area which has to be in fact harmoniously integrated in whatever plan we make for the future PMKSY 3. More crop per drop must be the defining feature. We also must start looking at more dollars per drop. that is just a thought which I am sharing with the group, and then we will be, of course, joining in the technical sessions also, where we will be having more discussions on this. I would request all of you we have also organized a visit to one of the pilots that we have taken up as a part of this national workshop, national conference, which is rejuvenating a water body, rejuvenating a percolation tank, to be more specific, on a sustainable basis, which means that the future upkeep of the rejuvenated water body should come from the revenues that this kind of rejuvenation will be yielding to the gram panchayats or the local bodies or for the local communities. I would invite all of you to have a close watershed kind of look at this very small pilot that we have done. And the inspiration for the pilot, if I must share, is our Minister of State, Shri Pemmasani Chandra Sekhar Garu, which also happens to be his native constituency. So it is at his entirely his initiative that this pilot has been taken up as a part of a pilot which might give us a direction for PMKSY 3.0. So with this, I welcome all of you once again, and I also welcome you to visit the tank renovation work that we have carried out in the nearby area tomorrow. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege and honor to invite on dais a distinguished officer and a dynamic force behind the Department of Land Resources, Government of India, which is the nodal agency for implementing flagship programs like the Watershed development component of the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. His extensive experience in public administration, coupled with a deep commitment to rural development and environment sustainability, has been instrumental in shaping policies that are transmuting into tangible impact onto the ground, transforming dry lands into fertile landscapes and securing livelihoods for millions. Please join me in extending the warmest welcome to Shri Manoj Joshi Garu, IAS, Secretary, Department of Land Resources, Government of India, with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, Honorable MOS, Shri Shashi Bhushan, Nitin, Sateja, District Collector, SLNA CEO, Mr. Reddy, Mr. Gutte, पालीवाल जी, पांडे जी, यहाँ पे आए हुए सभी राज्यों के प्रतिनिधि. Let me first thank MOS and entire team from Andhra to give us an opportunity to come to Guntur. It's a beautiful place. Guntur is one place, you can see water everywhere. It's one of the most fertile places in the country, one of the agricultural powerhouses of Andhra Pradesh and entire South India. I think the amount of agriculture which you see in Andhra, so whenever you see a problem in Delhi about tomato prices, the origin lies in some untimely rainfall in Andhra Pradesh or the amount of crop which Andhra Pradesh grows. I think it's wonderful and good to see Guntur agriculture where even I find the prices of land and the amount of agricultural land which is without any housing potential, without road frontage, people are still buying land to do agriculture and do cultivation is a very viable proposition. So that you see in Guntur and around that in Andhra Pradesh. So you should experience what agricultural powerhouses. There are few places in India, this is one of them, where the agriculture foundation is very, very strong. We have been implementing WDC2 for last few years, and now in the process of formulating guidelines and contours of the scheme for WDC3, which would start from 1st April. The Government of India works on a 5-year cycle, the Finance Commission cycle. So every 5 years, the scheme comes for 5 years period. Last 10-15 years of WDC experience has taught us many things. And based on that, there has been some thinking on our side as to what should we be doing in next 5 years. And this purpose of this Chintan Shivir, when we are coming here, so we thought it would be best to listen to you and your views and how do we shape this next 5 years in the scheme. One of the thought processes which our Honorable Minister Shri Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji has been talking about is the river rejuvenation. So that is one of the themes which we would like to discuss with you. Other theme which a lot of places people talk about is revival of traditional water harvesting systems. So we, like in Bundelkhand recently, CRISAT and other people worked on revival of their system. Similarly, in South India, we have traditionally tanks have been used for water storage, and over a period of time, probably we have started neglecting them. The modern development actually puts a lot of pressure on entire water harvesting system. The more you harvest water and the more electricity is reaching everywhere, the more the groundwater becomes accessible. People keep drawing groundwater and they are far less bothered about water harvesting and water conservation. You find that the people, the good NGOs, wherever they have worked in the area where you can't draw groundwater, where the groundwater has reached 500 feet, 1,000 feet, where there's no groundwater, then people turn towards water harvesting and how do you harvest rainwater. And not the places where the groundwater is available. There is not so much of traction for watershed. Traction is most where groundwater or electricity is just not available. Over a period of time, probably people started forgetting about water harvesting. So what type of traditional systems which we have, how do we bring them in the play in water harvesting system, in watershed program? That is another theme we want to discuss. Other area which we find in watershed as a lacuna is that scheme doesn't get so much of publicity in the good work being done. A lot of other works generate a lot of publicity, but probably watershed program doesn't generate so much of publicity, public attention. How do we do that? So that, because good people work in few areas, but government money is going everywhere, in every panchayat, every village. How do you use the watershed concept for that all the money which Government of India, state governments are spending should go in appropriate watershed development, water harvesting. That is not happening fully. So one way is we work in developing watershed plans in every panchayat, in every watershed, in every area. And whatever government investment, whether it's Narega or any other scheme, goes into that direction rather than ad hoc works, whichever anyone feels like, whichever is more convenient. Instead of that, we work systematically in all parts of the country. So in a way, we weave all the government schemes together in a watershed development. That's another concept which we had presented to group of ministers also and to honorable ministers also, and we would like to discuss that with you. Interweaving of different government schemes and watershed taking a lead into that. Other area which we also would like to discuss is we in WDC2, we were not really involving NGOs. It became more of a government program. uh, not so much of public participation. So how do you bring in NGOs who are doing good work? There is a downside also, there is a upside also. How do you balance it? That you involve only good people who are working and not everyone else who might exploit the scheme. So that is a big challenge. WDC 1 we used to involve NGOs, and WDC 2 probably with some bad experiences we went into a completely governmental approach. So involving more of the panchayats, more of the NGOs, more of the public participation is another challenge which we need to discuss, and how do we proceed further onto that. So there are other area which we find challenging is some states do very good work much faster. Some states, the scheme being small and being implemented by different departments, the administrative setup takes time to go in a smooth way and implement the scheme. So the states which are spending more money, some states which are not able to spend money. So how do you bring a challenge mode? At least the states which are doing better work, they're doing more work, probably can we do, or which are more prepared, do we provide more funding to them rather than distributing it equally? How do you bring a challenge mode that states improve their own systems also, administrative system, because that is a big challenge. In a lot of states you find the administrative system is lacking. So these are the aspects we would like you to discuss in today, and if we can provide inputs so that the WDC 3.0 can be framed appropriately with your inputs, with the inputs of NGOs, with the leadership of both our ministers. Both of them want to take Watershed into the required area with the rural development intervening, with the Manrega, with other schemes going into the right direction. Honorable MOS has already worked for last few days on a model watershed project here, which tomorrow you would like to show to all of us. We should be doing similar such projects everywhere, and I hope you enjoy your stay in Guntur and see the beautiful land of Guntur with water all around, with Krishna river's bounty all around us, and take very good memories of Guntur. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen,
Andhra Pradesh, Shri Seshapushanji, and the person who is single-handedly hosting this entire thing, Shri Nitin Kadeji, Joint Secretary, Watershed, and on the ground, boot work is being done by our people, Shri Krishna Teja, Commissioner, Rural Development, and our Collector, Shri Tamim Ansariji, District Collector, and Shanmukji, who has been working, I think, day and night to show you what we are doing for tomorrow, and Shri C.P. Reddy ji, and Shri S.K. Mohanji, and well-respected Padma Shri awardees, Shri Shyam Sundar Paliwalji, and Shri Umashankar Pandeji, and all the accomplished officers who have come from far to my own constituency, Guntur. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to all of you. It's a proud moment to host this conference in my own constituency in Guntur. This is actually a third rural development related national conference that's being held in Guntur area, especially in Andhra Pradesh. The reason we wanted to do these things in Guntur or in Andhra Pradesh is actually to support the government of India. If you look at Modi ji, he has been working tirelessly hard, coming up with excellent schemes that uplift our entire country and make it to Viksit Bharat. But the implementation of those schemes is what matters at the end, and that is what going to change it. So, under our visionary Chief Minister Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu and our Rural Development Minister Sri Pawan Kalyan Garu, with all of us being here, we wanted to be the role model to take these things forward, so that at least whatever we could contribute to the nation building will come from Andhra Pradesh. That's the reason why we take these things so seriously. And if you look at it, all our department people, rural development people here, from secretary to everybody, director level, for the last, we only gave 15 days to create this entire pond beautifully to showcase our vision. They have been working extremely hard to show what our vision to the rest of the India, and hopefully it could be a landmark event in the Watershed program. So that's one thing in the outset. And then if you look at it, the Watershed, Manoj Joshi ji was right, a lot of people, for example, he himself is an exceptional officer, I know about his story and all that stuff. But all the good work that they do may not translate into the public perception, which is an injustice for the people who are genuine, hardworking, and want to really contribute to the India's development. So, how can we do that? This is the reason why we came up with all these ideas and how we want to take it forward. But if you look at India's story, it has always been written with monsoon ink. Our prosperity rises with rain and falls when it fails. And 3/4 of our annual rainfall comes between July and September, just in 4 months. So we are uniquely dependent on how we capture, store, and use every drop of water that comes. And if you look at it, the data of India, water is getting tighter. An average annual per capita water availability is estimated should be at least more than 1700 cubic meters. If it is less than 1700 cubic meter, the place is considered water stressed. So according to 2021 estimates, our per capita is 1486, approximately 1500. So already 4 years ago, we were started to be under water stress region already. And by 2031, it is estimated to be 1367. So it's going to go down even further. And if you look at it, 4% of the world's renewable, only 4% of the world's renewable water is available in India. However, we cater to 18% of the world's population. You see the difference. This is why in 2016, when drought hit, it hit almost 330 million people, or that is 33 crore people. So the cost of inaction is huge. It worsens floods and drought in the dry area, accelerates soil erosion, saps farmer incomes, all this stuff, and triggers urban water crisis. So understanding these problems, our Honorable Visionary Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has made this water security as a national security and recognized this and came up with all these wonderful schemes. And if you look at the watershed management, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sanchay Yojana 1.0, obviously we have, wherever we could do effectively, the results are obvious. And whatever the investment we did through the government, it created at least 6 times production, close to 20,000 crores of output. Farmers' income has risen 70% in those areas. Milk production has increased almost 40%. The number of crops farmers sow is 3 times. It used to be only 1 crop, now 2 or 3 they are doing. The groundwater level has increased more than 3 meters. So these are all the obvious results that we could see in these areas. And since the watershed 1.0 was successful, the 2.0 was extended from 21 to 26. We invested almost 13,000 crores, both central and state share, resulted in 1,200 projects on the ground, covering 50 lakh hectares of the land area. And to involve the people into these programs, last year under our Honorable Cabinet Minister Shri Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji, we unveiled Jan Bhagidari Yatra so that it can, village with the vans, and awareness goes to the villages, and it covered almost 8.5 lakh farmers. And so these are the things, obviously, wherever they have done effectively, it worked. So when communities lead, change follows. This has been shown. And why certain things, even though we have been doing good in certain areas, why these things are not taking off? We all have to introspect. Obviously, there are so many reasons. For example, at least, me, I usually, I built a business, so I understand why certain things really don't work and why certain things take off. So there are several reasons, right? Government departments work in silos rather than integrated work. So that silos, how can we solve those silo problems, right? Land department is different, water department is different, agriculture department is different. So this is where brainstorming need to come. Can we create, at least on a prioritized basis, cross-functional teams? There are somebody, 2 or 3 people, their entire goal is to coordinate and get things done. That could be something our rural development people can do. And also convergence, schemes with convergence often make, cause delays. So that's another area. So when you want to really converge, that means you are working with multiple departments, it's going to be delayed. How can we do convergence in a systematic manner that can prevent these bottlenecks rather than not thinking through those things? And then there are delays in coming up with these DPRs, detailed project reports. So what are the mechanisms? Are there already people who have been experienced in creating these DPRs, engaging them in a systematically statewide? And awareness, and this is where hopefully tomorrow's program might be helpful. Most people cannot visualize the benefits of these projects. They are happening remotely to certain areas. The effects are long term. They cannot see those things. And they consider these as a temporary labor schemes rather than a long-term resource enhancement. How can we do that? And then, even when we do in certain areas, the other problem is maintenance. We spend money and in the long run, they don't get well maintained. That's because whatever the government structures we create, watershed user associations, Gram Panchayat, they have to be really thought through. How can they be made accountable to get these projects maintained? And probably another most important thing is funding ratio, 60-40. Central always somehow gets the money, but the state, when it comes to states, certain states have issues, certain states do better. For example, in my own Andhra Pradesh, last 5 years, nothing, not nothing, quite a bit was not done. Then we came back, we cleaned up all of that. Now we are coming up with the funding of that 40%. So we're able to move some things forward. And if you look at our own state, we're building a beautiful new Amaravati capital where these watershed kind of projects, ponds are actually being pre-built, thought through those things. So I agree, it comes with the right leadership to understand these kind of things. But in any way, now we are working on the 3.0. I think this is where, what I believe, the reason people are not participating because they cannot see, it's far from them. But if we can come up with a strategy, prioritized strategy, identify all the villages that have more than 10,000 people. I looked at it, there are coming around 5,000 villages. And if you look at more than 5,000 population villages, they're coming around 20,000. So together, they're probably around 20 to 25,000 villages. If you can create these water bodies where the villagers can use day to day, that is what tomorrow they're going to be a walking track, there will be a children's play area, there will be an open gym for people, and there are automated solar lights, there is an open auditorium. All of these we were able to do under 1 to 1.2 crores. This is something, if the states can come up with, the central can come up with some scheme, and these ponds have to be close to the village habitations. So they can see this and they can maintain it even if you invest. And these, obviously you cannot do these alone because you want to promote in the drought areas. So how can we link, if a state does a good job in those drought prone watershed areas, maybe 1 to 2, 1 to 3, if you do one of that, maybe 3 can be given to these. So this kind of prioritized strategy and obviously linking with some convergence with Manrega might be valuable, and hopefully that can give a lot of visibility. I can see the visibility right now. Joshiji, we created this water body within last 10 days, right? I went there a couple times, we presented, we put it in social media. I am happy to tell you more than 250,000 people in Telugu states have visited just this project. And there are people are so happy. This is what we need, kind of thing. So obviously, whenever we do the things that people want, you will get the visibility. So that's my sincere suggestion for all your hard work and everything. If there is a way we can take this forward to these 20-25,000 every year, maybe 5,000, it wouldn't cost us much. We can, per acre, based on this model, this is a 20-acre pond, but not all villages have 20 acre. They probably have 5 acre, 10 acre. So we can come to a rough estimation of to do a similar model per acre, and then we can put it into the projects and hopefully can take care of those things. So so my suggestion would be, obviously this is just one brain thinking like that, but many of you have been on the ground and have been working quite hard. You know the practical realities other than what I know. So we are hopeful you give very valuable suggestions to our department people, and union government is ready with funding, with technology and policy flexibility. Anything you want, if it makes sense, we're happy to help you. And you all must lead with convergence, community engagement, and a deep commitment, so that whatever the problems that I have mentioned about where we are going, how we are in terms of water stress nation, we can solve it. So with that said, I want you to think these are not watershed, they are not check dams, okay? I want you to understand These are like rebuilding the ecological foundation of rural India. And it is about creating certainty in an uncertain climate. It is about converting rainwater from liability to an asset. I hope we all can work together to make India from a water-stressed nation to a water-secure nation. Once again, I wanted to thank you all for flying from different places, coming here. I hope you get to enjoy Guntur food. Tomorrow we will see and we'll have a big outside gathering. And I wish you pleasant time in Guntur. Once again, thank you so much for everybody who is involved in making this program successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the visionary insights. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick 15 minutes tea break and come back for our next session, which is review of WDC PMKSY 2.0 projects implementation in states and union territories. So I'll see you back in the next 15 minutes. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
మా ఈరోజు వాటర్షెడ్ నేషనల్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ని గుంటూరు ప్రాంతానికి తీసుకొచ్చాం. ఇప్పటి వరకు మీరు చూస్తే మా రూరల్ డెవలప్మెంట్లో జరిగినటువంటి ప్రతి మేజర్ నేషనల్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ కూడా గుంటూరులోనే జరిగింది. దీనికి ప్రధాన ఉద్దేశం ఏంటంటే ప్రధానమంత్రి మోదీ గారు చాలా డబ్బు ఖర్చు పెట్టి మంచి మంచి స్కీమ్స్ని డిజైన్ చేశారు. అయితే అవి స్టేట్స్లో ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేసే విధానాన్ని బట్టి ఆ స్కీమ్స్ అన్నీ కూడా ప్రజలకు అందుతాయి. గౌరవ ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు నారా చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారు కానీ అదేవిధంగా పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ గారి నేతృత్వంలో ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ మోదీ గారు ప్రవేశపెట్టింది ఏదైనా సరే మోడల్గా తీసుకొని మేము ఇవి చేసి చూపిస్తాము, ఈ భారతదేశ నిర్మాణంలో ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ఒక ముఖ్యమైన పాత్ర పోషిస్తుంది అనే చెప్పే ఉద్దేశంతోనే ఇట్లాంటివన్నీ కూడా తీసుకొని మేము చేస్తూ ఉన్నాం. ఎందుకంటే 10-15 రోజులు ఇది ఇక్కడ చేద్దామని డిసైడ్ అయిన తర్వాత 15-20 రోజుల్లో ఒక బ్యూటిఫుల్గా మోడల్ పాండ్ చేయటం కానీ, వీళ్ళందరికీ సౌకర్యాలు చేయటం కానీ, ఇవన్నీ చాలా శ్రమతోనూ డబ్బుతోనూ కూడుకున్నటువంటి పరిస్థితి. అయితే మా డిపార్ట్మెంట్ అధికారులు అందరూ కానీ అదేవిధంగా డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ కూడా ఇంత కష్టపడి ఇవన్నీ చేస్తున్న దానికి కారణం ఈ భారతదేశ నిర్మాణంలో ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ముఖ్యంగా గుంటూరు ప్రాంతం భాగం అవ్వాలనేది మా ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశం. అందరూ హ్యాపీగా ఉన్నారు. రేపు మనం పాండ్ అదంతా రేపటి క్లియర్ అయిపోతుంది. రేపు వెళ్ళి రేపు బహిరంగ సభలో మళ్ళీ ఇదే ఇంకోసారి మాట్లాడతాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
అన్న నారాజు గారు
Modi ji has been devising excellent programs to take India to the next level and Vikasit Bharat by 2047. But whatever the schemes that the union government devise, states have the equal responsibility to implement them effectively. So, under the leadership of our visionary Chief Minister, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu garu, we want to take all of those as pilot projects. We want to be the pilot state for anything that they want and show them how an effective implementation can reap the benefits. Therefore, the entire state, including especially Guntur, we want to be part of Vikasit Bharat process. So therefore, all our officers have taken so much time, effort to organize these things in a short period of notice. So therefore, I thank them. But this is our intentional effort to make India a successful and a wealthy, prosperous country in the next coming years. Thank
So
you.
what's your strategy, sir? How you are able to achieve all these things? Because this is the third time I think the national seminar is happening in Guntur. So how you are able to do it?
So again, it's a proactive nature of our entire state machinery under our Honorable Chief Minister, sir. We are all willing to put extra work, effort, and our people are ready to do that work. And, it's just a culture change. It is about inspiring leadership. It is about, we want to lead, that mentality. So, obviously, my union government officials are very good, and they also know wherever the work gets done, it is their priority as well. So, if somebody is well receptive, obviously there will be a win-win for everybody. Thank you so much.